All right, class, what's going on? So I'm going to be going ahead and giving you notes on volume of rectangular prisms today. Rectangular prisms and triangular prisms. I'm going to start with rectangular prisms. We'll do triangular prisms after that. And then you'll cut and paste like you all usually do. Put it in your journal. Once you're done cutting and pasting, there's going to be a Google form on Google Classroom. And that form, there's going to be 6 questions, okay? 3 of them on prisms and 3 of them on 3 of them on rectangular prisms and 3 of them on triangular prisms, all right? So let me go ahead and get started with these notes. That way we can kind of get through this and you'll have enough time to finish the assignment in class, all right? So when we're working with volume, okay, one thing you need to know is that volume is the space inside of a shape, the space that, you know, that it takes up inside the shape. And we talked about this a little bit when I was going over surface area. So it says the formula for a rectangular prism is V equals, and then you all probably remember it as length times width times height, okay? Now, the base of the prism is capital B, and notice that it's capital, all right? Capital B is the same as length times width, okay? Because if you're thinking about just the base, the area of the base, you have to do length times width to get the area of the base. So this capital B stands for area of base. I'm going to multiply length times width. So instead of writing L times W times H, which is probably what you learned in 5th grade or 4th grade, no, I think it was 5th grade, you're going to instead write volume equals capital B times H. And this is going to be the formula that we're going to be using. Okay, we're going to be using this with capital B in triangular prisms and rectangular prisms. We're going to be using it for pyramids as well, which I'll give you notes on tomorrow. All right. So hopefully you got those down. L times W times H, length times width, and then capital B times H. So your formula list here, again, volume is length times width times height. Okay, but again, base is length times width. So instead we'll be using area of base times height. Okay, so we're basically combining the L and W to capital B. Okay. So when we want to find the, I'm sorry, right here, remember, centimeters times centimeters times centimeters is centimeters cubed. Whenever we're finding volume, you're always going to use the exponent 3 because we're multiplying 3 dimensions, length, width, and height, okay? So it's always cubed. When we're finding area, we're only multiplying 2 dimensions, so we're only doing whatever it was squared, right? So the area is always squared, the volume is always cubed, okay? So finding the volume of each rectangular prism, there's going to be 2 steps that we're going to follow, okay? Step 1, we're going to find the area of the base, also known as the capital B, right? And the base is right here on the bottom. So the bottom of my shape here is the base, right? And I want to find the area. So in order to find the area of a rectangle, I need to multiply length times width, okay? Let me scroll down over here. So to find the capital B, we are going to multiply length times width. Put that L so it doesn't look like a 1, okay? So in this case, my length is 3 and my width is 4. So 3 times 4. So my capital B is 12. And it is, we're still working with centimeters, right? So here it's centimeters squared because we're only multiplying 2 dimensions, right? We haven't found the volume yet. This is just the area of the base, okay? Now for step 2, to find the volume, I'm going to have to take volume equals capital B times H. So in this case, I already found my capital B, right? Capital B is 12 centimeters squared. My H, which is my height, is right here. Okay? So my height is 8 centimeters. So I'm going to multiply the 12 centimeters squared times 8 centimeters. And look how many centimeters I have. Centimeters squared, that's 2. And then another one. So when I multiply 12 times 8, I'm going to get 96. And I'm going to put centimeters cubed this time instead of squared because I have 2 right here plus another one that's going to give me 3. Whenever you see this little 3, you should know that we're looking for the volume, okay? Now, that's one example. Let's look at the other example over here. Okay, another rectangular prism. All right, so now I'm looking for the area of the base. I'm not going to cover up that 3 because we're going to need it. Okay, so this is a little confusing, but if you look at it carefully, here's the length and the width, okay? So I'm going to use the 10 and I'm going to use the 5 to find my area of the base. So again, capital B stands for area of the base. I'm going to multiply 10 centimeters times 5 centimeters. So my area of base is 50 centimeters squared. Because I'm multiplying centimeters times centimeters. That's squared. Okay. So now that I know my area of the base, my height of the shape is 3. Going up, it's 3. So the height is 3. So down here, volume equals capital B times H. My capital B was 50 centimeters squared. And my H, again, was 3 centimeters. I'm going to put 3 centimeters, okay? So when I multiply 50 times 3, I get 150 centimeters. And then again, 2 centimeters here, 1 centimeter here. So all them together is 3. So centimeters cubed, okay? So that is how you find the volume of rectangular prisms, okay? Capital B times H, where capital B is the length times the width, okay? So that's going to be all the notes for rectangular prisms. Let's go ahead and move to the second set of notes. And your second set of notes is going to be over triangular prisms, okay? Let me open this up. Let's use a different color this time. All right, so now we're working with volume of triangular prisms. I'm sorry, not pyramids. So your triangular prisms are going to have triangles as your bases. So you need to know the formula for area of a triangle, okay? But we'll get to that in just a second. Let me open up the other notes here. Okay, so the volume of a triangular prism is the base, I'm sorry, the area, just like the other one, the area of its base, known as capital B, times its height, which is H. So the formula is literally just the same as the rectangular prisms, capital B times H, okay? The only difference is that now our bases are not rectangles, our bases are triangles. So it's going to be a little bit of a different step when we're trying to find the area of the base. So to find the area of the base, okay, a triangle, the area of a triangle is 1/2 of base times height. And notice that I'm using the lowercase b here, not the capital B, because those are different, okay? But again, I don't like to use this formula. Instead, I like to use base times height divided by 2. Okay, so this is the one we'll be using to find the area of the base. To find the volume, we're going to be doing area of base times height. Okay, so the height is the same. I mean, here the height is for just the base, just the triangle. Okay, and you'll see what I mean in a bit. Here, this is the height of the actual 3D shape. All right, so let me show you what I mean here. We're going to find the volume of this triangular prism as shown here. Okay, so you'll notice that the bottom is a triangle, the top is a triangle, and then they're connected with 3 rectangles going up. Okay, so the 3D shape is standing up. This is the height of the 3D shape. This is the height for the 3D shape. Okay, but for my actual triangle on the bottom, this line right here is the height. This is the height of the triangle. Okay, so those heights are different. This is the height just for the base. This is the height of the actual 3D shape. Okay, so step 1 right here, it says to find the area of the base. So I'm looking at just this triangle on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to use the formula base times height divided by 2. Okay, so you're going to be doing 8 times 4, because this is the base and this is the height, the 4. Okay, so 8 times 4 divided by 2. Okay, now 8 times 4 is 32, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. So this is 16 feet squared. Okay, and again, it's squared because I did feet times feet. So that's why there's 2 feet squared. All right, so that was your first step. That's just finding the area of the base. Now to find the actual volume of the prism, we're going to be using, lower this down a little bit more, volume equals area of base times height. Okay, so my area of the base I have here. Okay, this A is pretty much the area of the base. So volume equals 16 feet squared times, and I'm going to go back up here and look for the height of the 3D shape. But the 3D shape is 9 feet tall. So I'm going to go back down here, multiply it times the height, which is 9 feet. Okay. Now I'm multiplying 16 times 9. Let me do that here. This is not one that I can do, right off the top of my head. 9 times 6 is 54. There's a 5. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. Okay. So the final volume is 144 feet. And then again, I have 2 here plus another 1. That's going to be cubed, the little 3. Okay. So this is how you find volume of a prism. Okay. You find the area of the base, you multiply that times the height, and that will give you the volume. Okay. So what you're going to be doing now is you're going to cut these two out. You're going to paste them in your journal. All right. Once you're done with that, on Google Classroom, there's a Google form. Okay. You're going to open up that Google form. There's going to be 6 questions. Okay. Let me show you what the questions are going to look like. This is 3 of the questions. I haven't put it in a form yet, but I will. All right. Like as I'm making this video, the form's not ready yet, but I'm going to use these 3 questions. So there's 1, 2, and 3 for rectangular prisms. Okay. And then over here, there's 1, 2, 3 for triangular prisms. Okay. For the triangles, remember that the triangle is always your base. Okay. So that would be your base there. That would be your base there. And over here on the bottom would be your base. Okay. So this one's standing up, but these are not. So you need to know that this is your base and this is the height of the three-dimensional shape. Okay. Basically, the distance between your 2 triangles is your height. Okay. You're going to go ahead and do that. Answer those 6 questions, and then you're going to submit that. Okay. Make sure you're behaving for the sub, please, guys. And I'll see y'all when I get back. All right. Thank y'all.